Like when I was a kid, first of all, I didn't even use the word entrepreneur, and it's fun to see some of the 30 and ups shake their head, because entrepreneur only 15 years ago meant you were a loser. It meant you had ideas and probably lived at your dad's house, right? So entrepreneurship was not a very attractive word. And it's been interesting and fun for me because I am an entrepreneur. I used to say businessman, but now I'm comfortable saying entrepreneur. And it's been fun to watch the word evolve, but it's actually the same. The excitement I have the equal reaction to the concern. Here's what I mean by that. This phenomenon of the internet, the reason, and forget about the speed of it, and that's incredible, and this town wins on that, but I mean just the at-bat is the reason that a startup or an individual from this town has the same at-bat and chance as somebody from New York or LA or London or Paris. It's just the truth. You may not think it. People love to dwell and look at the negative, but the truth is, let me just remind you things. Some of the hottest companies in the world, Pinterest was started in Pennsylvania, Facebook was started in Boston. Like, these things are not just started in Silicon Valley. You can make these things happen. Unfortunately, because I didn't invest in the angel round, I was in the room when Uber was invented in Paris. Obviously they were they were San Francisco entrepreneurs, but Travis was from LA and Garrett was from Canada. And so this stuff can happen anywhere. The problem is, and I really want to speak about this for a second, and I think for the few that know who I am, I'm nowhere close to Debbie Downer, but I want to draw a line in the sand while we're talking about Startup Week, and I want to talk about self-awareness. Self-awareness is massively important. If I could wish anything on anybody besides health, it would be self-awareness. I think the reason that I've had a happy life and some success is because of self-awareness. It allows me to recognize the 99% of things that I suck crap at. And what's happening right now is because it's so easy to get an at-bat and to start a business and to be a startup founder, so many people are doing it, right? That same gift is actually potentially not a curse, because it's a tremendous experience and it's not like you're doing anything wrong. But I do implore everybody, as you get excited about this week and everything that's going on, and definitely what's gonna start happening in this town, to really give a lot of thought to what you're good at and what you're not good at. And I implore you to really, if you're lucky enough to have self-awareness, or if you're lucky enough to be comfortable with who you are and you're not in the business of lying to yourself, and I think everybody is a little bit, including myself, but if you're good at it, I really implore you to triple down and quadruple down and 7x down on your strengths. I actually think the reason this town is gonna win is for a lot of reasons, but one that stands out is if you don't buy into your own hype as it starts growing over the next half decade and things of that nature, then you have a chance on betting on what you bring to the table. I think all the cliche things, I think about stereotypes and cliches. I'm fascinated by them because they're there because there's a whole lot of truth in them, right? Yet we don't want to deal with that truth. It doesn't feel politically correct and things of that nature. But what I've been thinking a lot about with this office, with the Vayner team, and this town, and my excitement to see what kind of startups pop up from here, because very honestly, one of the biggest reasons I bet on this town was not only because I thought it was a good place for an office, but I believe in the talent and the underbelly of the fire of some of the leading entrepreneurs in this town as a gateway drug for me to get into good deals. I'm completely convinced that there will be a remarkable multi-$100 million business that starts here, and I feel like having an office here and having a presence here and being a name in the game here gives me a better chance of being an investor in that company or being involved in that company. And so the thing that I wanted to come here, besides my Q&A, and that's really what I want to do, what I wanted to say is bet on who you are. Way too many towns, and one of the big strategies I have in my book tours when I speak is to go to non-New York, LA, Chicago cities, right? First of all, I'm in the business of selling things, especially for big companies, and most big companies sell stuff in not New York, LA, and San Francisco. Most of them sell it in a lot of other places, and I think a lot of people that live in New York, like myself, a lot of my contemporaries and my friends that live in the bubbles of SF, LA, and New York don't really realize what the hell's going on in actual America and live in their own bubble. So that's cool, and that's a fun thing to say to you because you're like, yeah. But I'm actually concerned in the other direction for this same room for the same thing, which is while everybody gets excited when I say that when I'm in Omaha and Kansas and Iowa and all these places. They equally then, when I leave and become friends with them and I watch their behavior, they try to act like New York and SF and LA, especially when they play this game. And I think that's a mistake. I think betting on your strengths and understanding who you are and what you can service, and really the best thing in the world to do, in my opinion, if you're starting a business, is to scratch your own itch. When you scratch your own itch or fix your own problem, you tend to build a really good business because you know exactly what you're solving for. Instead of sitting right now and thinking about how am I gonna start the next picture app like Instagram, the greatest thing you could ever do, and this is why I think I'm a very good salesman, I just live my life and I listen. For all the talking I do a whole lot of listening and a whole lot of watching of the people that are important to me in my world. And then I react to that, and then I react to it. And I think one of the great things that you could be doing is actually thinking about your own pain points day in and day out on ways that you could solve a problem. Literally, Uber was solved by affluent people saying, wouldn't it be cool to have your own black car all the time? You know, like, and when you think about those kind of things, you start understanding the opportunities at hand. And so one of the things that I hope to inspire at least one person in this room is deploy self-awareness, deploy the thought of how do I solve my day in and day out problems, and what kind of companies and opportunities are going to be built out of the DNA of this city that are different than, let's say, the 2 or 3 cities that get talked a lot about in technology today. My friends, this is the second industrial revolution. We didn't get as lucky as you did. This is the generation. Like, this is the sweet spot. This is the land grab. This is what happens. Everybody's got their own generations and their own great things and their own bad things. If you just want to talk about entrepreneurship, if you just want to talk about having an at-bat to build something for yourself that you own and do something that you like, this is better than 1987. This is better than 1974. This is better than 1963. And the one thing that I ask you to do is to not look back and regret that you wavered on the moment that was available to you. The only thing that's not fun, the only thing you regret is the things that you don't do. It's just the way it is. Like, even if you think of random dumb stuff like not asking out that person in high school or stuff, this stuff lingers. It's the stuff that you don't do that bothers you. And so for the purebred entrepreneurs in here that haven't decided to make that leap or take that at bat, I implore you to do so right away, because this window closes too. It's just supply and demand. As you get more and more entrepreneurs and as more and more people do it, more and more at-bats fall off the stream. It was a lot easier to start social media sites in 2003, 4, 5, 6, and 7 than there is now, because 9,000 photo social apps hit the App Store every day. And so, if you hear that and you hear the last little part of my rant, which is know yourself, I'm trying to point you in a direction of where the opportunity is, because there is so much white space still available to build in businesses, yet people are really attracted to the $1 or $2 billion exits, and they think they need to. Guys, for every Instagram, there's 80,000 Insta shits. So everybody's chasing these unicorns, these once in a lifetime. Do you know how phenomenal it sounds to your grandparents if you told them that you built a business that you own, that you run, that you like doing, and you make $200,000 a year? Do you know what kind of nirvana that actually is in the scheme of things? And so we are not grounding this entrepreneurial startup conversation in the right thing. We're grounding it in these headlines of the 5 or 6 things, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Uber, and we're not talking about the tens of thousands of opportunities there are if you actually take a step back, understand what's happening, try to build something around your pain point. Like, your pain point might be your 3 kids piss you off all the time. Like, that's a real pain point, right? Like, I don't know, create an Uber for like babysitters. Like, there is so many ways to build businesses, and if you just sit back right now and think about how much money you make, double that amount, and then think about being able to do something on your own terms, now all of a sudden you've grounded yourself in a totally different conversation than this weird need to like be the next Zucks, right? Or like change the world or things of that nature. And so I'm looking for practicality. I'm looking for real practicality, because practical business building has never been easier. And the best part is, it's never been cheaper. For so many of you in this room, one of the things you can use as an excuse is, oh, there's not as much money here as there is in San Francisco and New York. I can't raise as much money. Good. You know how many people are about to raise a crap load of money and lose it all? You know how much money is about to be lost? The amount of money that's about to be lost on all the fundraising that's gone on for the last 4 years is disgusting. You know another thing? It's good to learn how to build a business that actually makes fucking money. Yeah. It's good. The amount of companies I'm watching, young kids with ideas, raise $3 million and deploy no practicality in actually building a business is scary. And then they're gonna lose all those people's money, and you know what the reaction is? It was a good experience. Yeah, for you. I'm pissed I lost my 50K.